the Love This Life podcast with LOCASH and JR. Here's the boys.
Hey, y'all. Here we are on the podcast, and we're still getting that seat that JR sits in. Broken in, buddy. I mean, that is the squeakiest seat, possibly.
I love it.
It's very dad chair like.
Let me tell you a story about when I was younger. Yeah, that's what it feels like.
I mean, it looks good though. You know, it's
But I'm Rep America.
You are. You have the America shirt on.
3 favorite colors, obviously.
That's
Living
right.
the brand right now.
That's right.
You were living the last single, Beach Boys, right now.
Yes.
Which is also,
and our softball team.
I mean, talk about some winners.
Yes.
Our
seriously
softball
winner.
team. We do more damage to the keg in the parking lot than we do on the field.
But we
That's
made
for
playoffs.
sure.
We made playoffs every year.
We do for the first round.
Not because of us, but maybe because there's a lot going on.
I'm actually.
You're all right.
I mean,
not as good as me, but you're good.
I lead off and pretty much hit dingers. But
who is the best between you guys? I've always wondered because Chris is a legit baseball player.
It's a
he
good
is
question.
a legit baseball player. He made a great play last time I played with him, but he hasn't shown up since then.
It's true. That's true because I'm a lot older than you. I'm like 20 years older than you.
What happened? What do you mean you haven't showed up?
No, I mean,
just because of our schedule, or
my
did you get
shoulder
hurt?
surgery, and I played after the shoulder surgery. But
let me tell you something about Chris. Chris can legit. Where's the camera? Right here.
Yeah.
Listen to me.
It's a big thing.
It's only our 25th out.
Chris. Well, the camera keeps moving.
It does move.
The camera's moving, and I sort of enjoy that.
Eric moves it.
Hey, producer Eric is with us.
Hey, producer Eric.
Yo.
You'll hear him.
Yeah.
You may not see
I'm
him.
off camera.
Don't know what he's going to say, but he's going to have a voice in this one. But legit, look into my eyes. Chris can throw a 60-yard football pass.
I can. Pre-surgery.
I would put him up against you.
You're putting it up against me.
I would put. Can you throw 60 yards?
I don't know. I haven't thrown a ball in a while.
All dudes think they can. I have won so much money putting Chris up against.
He has won money
people.
off of
That's
it.
awesome.
Yeah, it is cool.
I love it.
Dudes think they can.
I'm lucky to
each
throw
other.
40 right now, though. To be honest
Really?
with you, dude, I can't.
I'm
can't
not
lift the
going to
arm all
say
the way
that
up.
because I don't care if he had surgery or not. He's got this technique on throwing a football. It's like the
Spiral?
pros.
Yeah, it's an
it's a spiral
aerodynamics
for
thing.
sure.
But it's where you and you don't throw it as hard as you think. You know, people throw the football. You think you got to throw it as hard as you can.
My son is 4 years old. Chris spent like 10 minutes with him showing him how to hold the football, how to throw the football. The kid is he's throwing better than me already.
He's throwing darts.
I bet
It's
you could outthrow me in a
because-
football. I bet you
Maybe.
could. I bet you could.
Maybe.
It's
But
unreal.
I couldn't now. There's no way. You got a great arm. There's no way I could throw you right now. I wouldn't put me up against anybody right now, dude. I have a pin in my shoulder that I can't go further than a certain level.
Because they're trying to slow you
It's
down.
bad.
They're trying. There's a rumor out there.
They found
and
out.
They're like, no way. They're going to try to slow this down, and I'm going to have the pin removed. I'm just going to tell you right now because once the pin is removed, I make more money.
It's like a grenade. Hold
Yeah.
the pin.
And
See ya.
boom.
Boom. Here comes the money.
Anyway, Chris is legit. He's an athlete. I mean, he plays the baseball, the
Yes, he is.
football. He plays all the sports.
But I can't beat him in tennis.
Well, that's not.
I
real.
can't beat Preston in tennis.
Did
I'm
you
proud
play
of
tennis
that.
growing
I
up?
mean, I'm proud of that, but most people watching this are like, okay, whatever.
Well, did you play tennis
big
growing
deal.
up?
Yeah, I played just
Really?
high school, just middle school, high school stuff, and
What brought you to the tennis court? Like, why did you want to play tennis?
my buddies all played tennis,
Okay.
and so we would all ride down to Foster Park and play tennis, and I just happened to have some good players around me who taught me how to basically let everyone else make the mistakes. Just stay alive in the game. So I don't hit real hard or anything like that, but I can hang with you until you make a mistake and then I win. That's
I played
all it is.
pickleball with you, and I can see that was your strategy. I
We
still
whooped
haven't. Well, I haven't recovered.
I think we
Still.
whooped your ass.
You did whip you and John played Harley and I. So if you want to count Harley as my partner, yes.
I would take Chris as my partner right now. We'd kick your ass again.
Yeah, it probably would
Harley and
happen.
I?
Yeah, 100%.
Or
Yeah.
whoever you want.
Okay, I get to pick my partner.
Pick your partner.
Well, I mean, you can't go like recruit a pro.
No,
and
but-
pickleball does have pros now.
Maybe it's
you do.
Eric. Maybe it's Eric, the
Eric.
producer.
Eric, you played pickleball before?
No, I never have.
Okay, we're not going to pick
Perfect.
him. We're
He's
not gonna
perfect for this.
We're going to let him sit this one out.
disqualified.
All right. I mean, I'm ready
Find
for the
somebody
rematch.
and let's
I mean,
go.
we beat you on some games, and when I learned the game, because that was the first time I was ever playing.
Go get Tom Brady. He's got time on his hands.
Oh man, Too soon.
And no, he loves pickleball.
Yeah, so does Rob. Gronk is.
How do you get it over him?
He sponsors a team now. Gronk is
awesome.
like.
I don't really want to play Gronk because he's so tall, or Brady probably.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair.
Tall.
I think there should be a height limit in pickleball.
Come
Well,
on.
I've always said
I feel like there has to. Why should tall people get to play this?
Well, you could do drop shots on them though.
No.
Yeah, we could still win. I mean, I'm just saying that like our strategy would change, but in tennis, the taller players, I've always said, are better.
Yeah, they're monsters.
They've just got
Unless they can't run.
They've got a better angle on the court, and it's
Sure.
all about angles.
It's all about angles.
It really is.
I agree with you. Tennis is an amazing game, actually. I really do enjoy watching tennis. I know that's weird, but like Australian Open, Wimbledon, U.S. Open, love watching them.
But now that we
Yeah.
play pickleball, we don't really play as much tennis. Pickleball is so easy, man. We got this great net. We spent a lot of money on a net for the bus, and it just comes right out into the parking lot. We chalk off the court, and we can play right there. We don't have to go find a tennis court anywhere.
I'd rather find one. It gets pretty shaky when it's pretty sketch when we do it like that.
I like a
Yeah.
couple. I like a couple little
rocks
cracks in
and
the
stuff like
spinners.
that. Yeah,
Yeah. Anyway,
we do need to play though, because we have not played in a minute.
back to you guys. Who is the better baseball player?
Man,
Or
We
softball?
haven't played baseball though. We've never played baseball. We just played
Who knows?
softball. I don't know.
Softball. I think he can hit further than me. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we played softball again. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, I'm a better baseball player. Better
Well, I was
softball
just trying
player.
to start a little.
But you're
argument.
also-
It didn't
you're also
work.
looking
You guys
at
are
what?
both humble.
What, I'm like 60 years older than you now?
I don't know what
Something
it is.
like that. Whatever it is.
I'm 37.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, same
Close.
Same
Close.
age. Same age.
So I mean,
But we have a good time. But honestly, though, he and I sit back and look at the younger guys on our team. And go,
I did miss a fly ball one time, though.
you did.
I did, yes.
You never miss fly balls.
I missed.
In fact,
this
I'll
ball was one of
brag
the
on-
highest balls I've ever seen in my
I'll
life.
brag on Chris again. I'm going to brag on Chris again. We went to
All
a
right.
Tampa Bay Rays baseball game. We are in the crowd. Fly ball, and now it's a foul fly ball. It's coming down with high velocity towards an old man's head. And Chris, out of nowhere, shows up like Superman and is like,
I was waiting to see if someone was going to catch it.
Right.
Like, oh, okay, I'm going to give it. Maybe this kid can catch it. This kid. This is Cliff's dad, my neighbor's dad.
Okay.
And he's just standing there. Then all of a sudden, I see him go put his hands over his head, and I'm like, oh shit. So I go over and snag it.
he shows up he's sitting with me, but then all of a sudden he's like 13 rows back, and all of a sudden he's like, catches the ball. And I'm like, that was kind of Superman of baseball.
Well, it would have hurt. It
Oh.
would have been real bad.
So
No,
you
let's
caught
go
it
back.
on the fly?
He
On the-
can
okay,
judge.
So check this out.
He can judge where it's going better than most people.
But in that Tampa stadium, you ask any of those guys, man, that's hard because that stadium's white on
Right.
top.
Right. You're in a dome.
In the Tropicana. I mean, it is absolutely nuts.
So I got a story for you. It's not as good as that because I didn't catch it on the fly. But I was on a date and fly ball goes, okay, and it goes behind me. And I'm thinking, oh, okay. And I'm sitting on the aisle, right up to where like the players' wives and stuff sit. Like I'm right behind them, one back.
Right.
And there's this lady that's one of the wives or whatever sitting just a little bit over from me. And I'm sitting next to my date. Well, ball goes over my head and I'm like, oh, here we go. And you kind of, because of the spin of the ball, you have to wait to hear if it's going to hit something. Because if it hits something, it's coming back to the field.
For sure.
So you got to be like, kind of look over your shoulder. So I hear it bang. And so it like hit a sign. So I turn around. And as I turn around, it's coming down the aisle, flying. And I'm sitting on the aisle. And it's just, and you know how a bouncy ball, once it bounces the second time, it just goes?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
like
the
lacrosse
second one.
balls.
Right. So the spin is rolling on this thing. And I kid you not, I turn around. I'm like on the second hop, and this lady's head's right here. That has her back to it. No idea this thing is coming to her way. I reach out, backhand it, catch. Okay, again, didn't catch it out of the air, but
Doesn't matter.
two bounces.
Still going to knock the lady
It's
out.
rolling. So catch it like this. Everybody sees that it was going to kill this lady. Start cheering. Again, I'm on a date.
this is awesome.
This is sweet
Was
for
this
me.
with?
Kristen?
Yeah, because she told me this story.
Yeah. Dude, hero. Anyway, so what I looked like anyways. Catch it. So then your boy here obviously is going to play it up. Stand up.
No, you didn't.
Stand up. tip the cap to
As
the
you
left.
should.
No,
As
you didn't.
To the right.
As you should.
And then...
Did you make out with the old lady right there on the spot?
No.
You should have.
Because her husband probably was on the field and could kill me at any moment. but anyway, but what I was going to say was then there was a first timer, meaning a little baby dressed in Ray's gear, And Ray's onesie had just, and their parents just had told us, like, this is his first game, his first hot dog, like they're feeding like full experience. Turn around, hand it to the baby.
First base.
Right after you
baseball,
breastfed him. Yeah.
After I've made the play of the day, I'm telling you right now, 5 guys walked up to me trying to buy me beers. I said, no, I'm not drinking tonight. No, I'm not drinking.
That's weird
tonight.
they didn't give you a hamburger.
What's that?
What?
5
guys, stop.
Anyway, but what a date story, right?
I got to know, did you get laid that night?
What's that?
Did you get laid that night?
We held hands, and it was a great time.
You
held hands.
Who is this?
I'm a gentleman and a scholar.
This is a different guy.
What are you talking about?
I like it.
I'm a gentleman and a scholar.
What, man, it sounds like a Valentine's Day episode now.
It does sound like that.
No, but it was like the perfect date catch. I told it on my show.
Did you pull some roses out and hand it to your girl
if I would have
right then?
I should have. If I was at a point where
I'll make love to you
I was going to propose,
like you want me to,
that would have been the time.
and I'll hold you tight, baby, all through the night. I'll catch that ball for you.
Yep.
That's right, man. That's what
All right.
happens.
Speaking of
Love.
making love and all that good stuff, let's talk about how you guys met your wives, because this is an interesting thing, because you guys are on the road all the time, but you guys got some really, really good people back home that you call your wives. And let's talk about Kate. How did you meet
We're going to go
Kate?
there first. We're going to go there first. I mean,
Well, I think that's your wife, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, I mean, the prettier story is Preston's story.
Well,
If you want to start there, do you want to just go straight at it?
Let's
Well,
go right
I
with
think
you,
we
buddy.
should start with how you met your wife, because it starts with, it's time for a crazy story from the road. So here we are.
High note, nailed
We
it.
are going on, we're going on this fishing trip on TV, and they're going to film the whole thing. And it's called One More Catch.
Well, whose
Yes.
story is this? Your story, or this is?
Well, this starts out with this, because
Okay.
it leads to this love story over here. So we're out here on this boat. It's like 6 a.m, and we're pulling at, we're catching amberjack and some fun fish, and the captain of the ship is putting these bait fish on our hook. And so I'm, kind of a do-it-myself guy. I'm like, well, let me see what you're doing. So I grab the bait fish. I'm like, where do you hook it? And every time I look over, the head of the bait fish is gone. And I'm like, how's he doing this? Is he biting the head off? Is he ripping the head off? What's he doing to this bait fish? And I can't find it. It's like a magic trick. And so I said, dude, how are you doing that? And he tells me, for good luck, he bites the head of the fish off. And so now let's back up a little bit. We've been
Who's telling
drinking.
you this?
The captain of the ship.
gotcha.
So me and Chris, our fishing guide, we had been drinking heavily the night before, right?
Yeah.
So here we are, kind of hungover, still a little drunk. I mean, we about an hour of sleep.
And you know what doesn't go well? Ice cream in the morning after you drink.
Oh, you already got the bubble guts?
Horrible.
So he says, well, you bite the head of the fish off, put it on the hook, and you catch amberjack. And I'm like, well, the cameras are rolling, so I guess I better do this. So I bite the head off the fish. He was not biting the head off the fish. It was a prank. I bite the head off the fish, and my mouth is full of scales, and I'm trying to do like an outro on the TV show, and I'm just spitting scales and about to puke, and it was a bad situation, right? Had no idea they had so many scales. And so it turns out they didn't cut the footage. They left it on the TV show. So fast forward a few months, maybe 6 months, we get this call from a guy in Florida.
A guy named Sean.
He owns a club called the Roundup.
Okay.
And he calls our agent and says, I'm watching the Suncoast channel. There's this fishing show on. There's these 2 country music dudes, and they just bit the head off a fish. I got to book them for my club.
I love that.
Boom.
And now, the love story.
All right.
How it happens is Sean hires us. He's down here in Tampa. We're in Nashville, and we play the Roundup. And he hires us for the show, and there's this hot, beautiful girl working there behind the bar. And her name was Kate.
I never seen Chris like this before. We met a lot of girls on the road, and Chris is like, hold on.
Yes. We'll leave it at we met a lot of girls on the road.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Meet and greets and stuff like that.
Correct. Yeah, of course. But for some reason, this one just stuck out to me, and I'd keep showing up. I'd be like, hey, and she's like, hi. I was like, someday I'm going to marry you. And she basically told me to F off.
Right. Which
has never really happened.
Kind of the proper response if you're just saying that.
As you should.
Now the chase is on.
Yeah,
right.
the chase
is on.
I'm in. And literally, I become a stalker. Like, seriously stalked this girl. I had a girlfriend at the time, but she was doing other things on the side. And
wow.
Yeah, but so was I, obviously. So it wasn't really just a situation. It was a weird situation. And so she was like, I would come to every weekend or every week I had a couple days off. I would drive all the way to Tampa in a Jeep.
From Nashville.
Wow. All the way just to sit at her bar. And Sean would be like, oh, I'm getting one of the LOCASH guys. And hence, we are poor as shit at this point. We have nothing. Nothing. And I'm just sitting there, coming in there and just like sitting at the bar. I'm getting free margaritas, having a good time just so I could be around her. She would literally walk out the back of the bar so she wouldn't see me. And I still kept going. I was like, one of the days you're going to realize this. You're going to realize this.
Do you have her number at this point?
Not yet.
Ooh, okay.
So we finally talk a little bit, and I finally do get her number.
Sean booked us a few more times too.
Yeah.
So we became a regular at the roundup. So we would be on stage, and he would see her. You know.
So you weren't a complete creep at this point, because
really.
I wouldn't let him be a complete creep. I'm like, we got to play this right. You know.
But I literally on the road, I was just like, this. I would literally talk to God. I'm like, okay, this is it for me. I mean, I'll stop all the fun and games on the road for this one. This is the one I want. And she just never gave me the time of day. And literally trying to make a long story short, because it was about a year of me just trying to see her. We did one more show down there, and it was just past the point. It was past the point. I was like, all right, I'm going to give up on this. She's not giving me numbers, not giving me anything.
But we had this piano on the road.
Yeah.
And it was a camo piano, and we'd play it during the show. It'd come out, it'd roll out, and we had to roll it out ourselves. But didn't magically appear. But there was this song that Chris always loved, and Sons of the Desert.
Called That's the Kind of Love.
Yeah. And so we had worked that song up on the piano. We had been doing it for a while, just here and there, not every show, but once in a while. And, she's out there. It was a full house. It was probably sold out. And I jump on the piano and start playing Sons of the Desert. And Chris knows.
Prior to this, her comment was, how do I know you're real? You're a musician. How do I know it's true?
Valid question.
So this song is perfect. Well, this is the kind of love you're in. And when we sing, we don't dance with chicks. I dance with my mom, really. I didn't really dance with chicks.
Yeah, if we're singing a slow song,
it's not like,
pick somebody out of the crowd and slow dance with them while we're singing or nothing like that, right?
Right.
So how do I show this girl she's the one? Sold out crowd. I call her out. And she comes out to the dance floor, and I sing this song in her ear.
While he sings it, he slow dances with her.
Yes, in front of everyone.
And I'm out there on the piano just watching this. I'm like, oh, boy, this is for real. I mean, never seen him like this.
Yeah, it was it, man. And that day she said, okay, I'll go on a date with you. And so let's go to the first date.
This is where it gets really romantic.
First date, super romantic, guys. We're in a town called Punta Gorda, and she said, I'll meet you at Punta Gorda. I'll just meet you guys down there. We're doing a show down there. And next thing you know, I was like, she's like, well, where are you staying? I was like, the Days Inn at room 222. And she said, okay, well, I guess I'll stop by and stuff. And, it's trustworthy. We're going straight to a hotel room. But we get in there with no food, no drinks. I was like, okay, where do you want to go to get something to eat? Well, I take her to Walmart. And,
it's always a great first stop.
It's Punta Gorda, guys. Where am I going?
I love Walmart.
Hey, man,
what I mean? We went there, got some Dixie cups. There was an Arby's on the way, so we stopped at Arby's.
Okay.
Got some nice food. Very romantic.
Pick
so we
five.
had Arby's.
You obviously paid.
Yes, of course I paid. And thanks, JR. Appreciate you.
Well, you guys got to remember that I had Kate on my show telling me how you guys met as well. So that backstory is a whole different thing. I have a little bit of backstory on this.
So I got petite wine. Or petite,
it was awesome. It was our go-to because it was like
$19. Yeah.
And it was an incredible Petite Syrah.
I may have told her
red.
it was a $60 bottle of wine, but it's okay.
In some restaurants, it is.
Yes, correct. So I'm not necessarily lying.
In some parts of the country, it is.
In
It's a
some
delicacy.
places.
And I'll never forget. We're in the room and we're drinking the wine out of Dixie cups and eating our Arby's, and the Rays are playing Boston, the Red Sox. So we got along because her brother played baseball for a while in college, and we always talked baseball. I'd be like, baby, you keep batting in the minors. Are you ready for batting the majors? You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
I didn't know about these lines. You almost lost her with that shit.
Ah, man, there were
no
text
idea.
messages like that back and forth, and I think she got a kick out of it. I was being kind of facetious, but kind of studly too at the same
It's
time.
flirty. I like it. I'm here for it.
So, drop the zero and get with the hero, that kind of thing.
You will definitely lose her with that one. I love Vanilla Ice. I love the movie where he says it, but
Dude, she was dating like this guy who was like 6'5".
We ran into him in the mall once.
Jolly Green Giant, we called him.
It was like
He's a giant.
it was like a movie. We show up at the mall, and here comes his now wife holding hands with this dude.
Oh,
Giant.
no.
He's a giant.
Oh, Chris just stared him down.
So this is prior to
Definitely
your
looking
first
up.
date, right? Huh? This is prior to your first date, right?
Yeah, this was way before.
I don't
I
remember
was
the
gonna
dude's
say.
name. I just remember him coming around the corner,
I
and
know.
Chris is like,
Chris remembers his name. I guarantee
Chris is like,
it.
Pete, there they are.
Yeah, dude.
And I'm like, well, there who is? and here comes Kate with this boyfriend, and I'm like, that's a big boy. And Chris just, just shoulders out, chest out. He's ready. Not to fight, but just kind of
necessarily,
scare
but,
him
yeah.
off a little
Just
bit.
show he's not intimidated.
Yeah.
I got it.
More groin out, you know what I mean?
Just kind of hiked up my pants
No,
a little
it's
bit.
so funny. His name was like, I think it was PJ. I know that's his name, but that's his name.
You
was
just
like-
made it sound like maybe,
But
maybe it was.
So even today, even though the guy was a nice guy, he wasn't.
course.
Yeah, he's
Great
not,
guy.
I don't hate the guy or anything like that. But I
you talked to him
But
since
he
then?
was.
No, I
but he
have
was
not,
a zero.
But
Well, I don't like him.
yeah, I mean, I
still don't like him.
Poor
I was-
guy. I don't know. He probably wasn't a bad guy, but I don't even let my kids say, "Put on your PJs." I say
This is great.
I say it's pajamas. You say pajamas, please. But
Oh,
so
man.
Ironically,
anyway,
was his name too.
I call
yeah.
him resting britches, but to each his own.
but okay,
Whatever.
so go back to Days Inn. We're in the Days Inn, and she's laying on one bed, and I'm laying on the other bed, and she goes, "I don't
Oh,
want
it's
you
a
to
double
come."
queen room.
Yeah. She goes,
Okay.
"I do not want you to come over onto my bed,
Okay.
Okay.
but I'm going to warn you, I sleep naked."
What?
Yeah.
She said that?
Yes.
You can't say don't come to my
What
side.
am I supposed to do?
Right. You can't say that you don't come to my side and then tell that fact.
Yeah. It's like so.
a test. That's a
Did
test.
she tell you this on the show?
No.
Of course
she's not. Of course she's not.
Of course not.
test.
And now you get the real story.
It's 1,000% a test.
Yes.
It's got to be a test.
100%.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I went to the bathroom, but when I came back out, I still laid in my bed. I respected everything. I didn't touch her, and the next morning, it was a win. I mean, that was it. I think we laughed and so much that night. I did all the stuff that we used to do, trying to get chicks, where we used to lip sync the old Jodeci's and Boys to Men, Bobby Browns, and we used to do the high fives.
all of them.
Then I did some JT stuff for her, and
Wow.
and she was like, "Oh my God, why don't you ever sing like this?" And I'm like, "Well, because we're in country music, but
Right.
we love everything." And yeah, I won her over, guys. That's how. And literally, I remember. And sorry, I am Catholic, and whatever. I might be going to hell because we obviously did it before marriage, but.
What?
I told her, can you believe that?
Can't believe it.
I told her, and I remember I was in New York. We were in New York City, and while we were, nookie cookie in it, I said, "Hey, I'm gonna get you pregnant," and she said, "Okay," and God was listening.
Wow.
And she got pregnant with our boy, and next thing you know, I had to propose. So it was a rushed proposal. I mean,
a little shotgun.
yeah. So I was like, I told her, she wanted to tell her dad and her parents first. And she said everyone was going to hate me and her grandfather's going to hate me, who's now my favorite. Like, he loves me. We're boys. And she told him, and then Preston, is the guy who's going to lead prayer the night I'm going to propose.
Well, we got it all worked out. Here's how it's going to go down. We're going over to her house, and we're having this little party, right? And everybody's going to, before the show, because we're playing at the Roundup again or whatever. And so we're hanging at Kate's house, and we got it all timed out. He's got the ring in his pocket.
But I have to tell her dad still that I'm going to propose.
Oh, you haven't even asked permission
I haven't
yet.
even asked yet.
Oh, okay.
Dude, it's all rushed. So I go in his office, and I just remember looking at the gun above his door, and I'm like, oh, shit, I would have killed me by now. And I said, well, Howie, I said, listen, really, obviously, you know I love your daughter, and I'm in 1,000%. Obviously, you know I'm in, period. We're pregnant. And he said, yeah. And I said, well, I want to propose to your daughter. And he goes, okay, yeah, I think, you can propose. He's like, when do you think about doing this? I was like, tonight. What? I said, tonight. I mean, there's no better time than right now, right? He goes, I said, you got your approval? And he said, yeah, you got my approval, but tonight? And I'm like, so we got to get this done quick because she needs to get in the wedding dress. She's got to be able to fit in it.
We had already worked it out where I'm going to say a prayer right before dinner, and then Chris is going to do it right after the prayer. He's going to propose right after prayer. I am already on marching orders. I already know my part. Chris is going to go in there, ask for the blessing. He walks out. I say a prayer.
Prayer
he
starts.
proposes.
Dude, now let me tell you about this prayer.
Okay. Let me tell you about this prayer.
I got nervous for Chris.
Preston, maybe a good 15 minutes prayer.
I got so nervous
a
for Chris.
15-minute prayer of thanking everything, everyone.
I gave him every chance
there's a roof.
to get out of this.
Thank you. There's a light. Thanks. Hey, thanks over here to this little fish
was
that's
like,
sitting in the
"Dear
fish
God."
aquarium.
I said, dear God, so much is happening tonight, and only you know about it. There's so many things I want to thank you for.
I mean, we're all like...
And so I look at Chris, I'll be like, thank you for the people who mow our grass.
Dude, it's
And I look
everybody.
at him like, this is your chance.
I finally have to stop him. Like, all right, stop. I'm going to get on my knee right now.
I said, dear Lord, here's the thing I was talking about earlier. Here it is. Amen.
Dude,
Chris,
it is
take
the
it
longest freaking prayer of all
away. I
time.
had everybody in a big circle, too, holding hands.
Oh, my God.
Because he's
Kumbaya,
going
the
to
whole
step.
deal.
No, he's going to step into the center of the circle. He's going to propose right there.
Ooh. And I did. I proposed, and she said yes. And I mean, it was evident that obviously we really had no choice, but she had no choice to say it. But it's the best move, man. Now 13
Absolutely.
years married and happily with 3 kids, and it's great, man. It's a great life.
It started out with you fishing.
Exactly.
Ended up with you catching.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
If that's not a
JR.
spot. You know what? Drop the sponsor right there, whoever it is. Strike King Bass Lures, right here.
Started with you on a boat, biting heads off a fish. Brought you to the Roundup. Caught your catch.
Boom. There it is.
How you like me now? Bam.
I like it.
That was really good.
That was great.
That was a
man.
great story, though. I obviously didn't know that story.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
See,
dude.
it was a big test for me, man.
That was
That
a
was
good
great.
one.
It's
Yeah.
really good.
I'm still spitting scales for this marriage, man.
You sure, dude?
Can't believe
So
it.
I have Preston to thank for my marriage.
Well, it all led to the big deal, so it worked.
awesome.
Now let's talk about you, bro.
Boy,
Come on, man.
I was a bachelor for a little bit longer than him.
A lot longer than me.
Yeah, for many years, and
I lived vicariously through him for a long time.
yeah, man. I mean, we were hanging at a CMA party, week of the CMAs, and we were hanging out at this party. It was like up above on Broadway, and it was an industry-only party, so it was like a karaoke night, and the industry folks who work all the records and some of the artists were showing up and just, drinking beer and singing karaoke songs, having a good time. And Chris and I are just sitting there with our buddy, Brian Thomas, who's a radio guy, one of our most influential guys and life-changing buddies. And so we're sitting there with him, and this girl steps in front of me. She's got this army green jacket on with an American flag on the back, and it was just a really cool jacket. And so she had blonde hair. I couldn't see her face, so I just tapped.
But so
her
far, so good.
So far, so good. I like that. So I tapped. I was just going to compliment her jacket because I don't see a lot of jackets like that. Tapped her on the shoulder, and she turns around. Of course, I love what I'm seeing now. And I said, "Hey, I like your jacket." And she immediately just says, "I like your face." And I was like,
I can totally see her, knowing your wife. I can know that's so her sense of
well,
humor.
it just didn't even seem real. You know what I mean? I was
Right.
like, what? And she goes, "You want to hang out?" And I said, "I think I'm going to marry you."
Really?
Just sort of tongue in cheek, being funny, but I was just like, I had never met anybody that got me that quick, just, stopped me in my tracks. And so I was like, okay, I think I'm going to marry you. And she goes, "How about a couple drinks first?" And she goes, "I'll get them." So she goes to the bar. I'm sitting there with Chris, and I'm like, I can't even believe what's happening right now. This girl just popped out of nowhere. She comes back with a couple drinks, and we hit it off conversation-wise, and then the bar closes down. It's like, 2 a.m. or whatever. And I knew I couldn't say anything, sketch like, "Hey, you want to go back to your hotel and hang out?" Or "You want to come back to my apartment and hang out?" or whatever. So we had this place called the Fire Hall, Sony ATV Publishing Fire Hall. Fire Hall is real famous because that's where so many hit songs from country radio have been written inside those 4 walls. And so I thought, well, that's kind of, we were signed to Sony ATV Publishing at the time, so I had a key fob to get into the Fire Hall. I thought that's kind of a safe place to go because, it's on Music Row. It's right here where we're all hanging out for CMA, and maybe we'll go back there and just hang out. They got a cool kitchen in there. Maybe we'll make some coffee or something. So I said, "You want to go back to the Fire Hall?" She says, "Yeah." So Chris is in the truck with us, and we're driving, and he's like, "I don't know what's going on in here." I can't remember what he said, but he said something to the effect like, "I've never seen anything like this before. This is wild."
I'll just go with the flow. Going to the Fire Hall.
Yeah,
sounds like fun. Me being by myself.
Yeah,
yeah.
So we dropped Chris off wherever he's going. I can't remember, and then maybe to his car or something, and then we go to the Fire Hall. And we had just recorded a song called "Shipwrecked," and so it was kind of like fresh in my memory on the piano. It was a piano-based song. So we walk into the Fire Hall, and we're, I'm saying, this is where we write songs, and stuff. And so she says, "Well, play me one." I said, "Well, we just wrote this one. See if you like this." And I played "Shipwrecked," and Chris actually sings the song, but I worked my way through it somehow and kind of hummed it a little bit and sang it to her. And she was all the way across the room. By the time I finished the song, she was sitting on the piano bench with me.
Oh, man.
And I was like, wow, another, fish and catch situation. I was like,
well, no, it's even better than that.
I mean, it was unreal how
real
the music kind of brought her over. And
well, also, you met the girl of your dreams, and she was wearing your 3 favorite colors.
See?
On the back of the jacket, American flag.
I mean, that's incredible.
I'm a listener.
Did this go all the way around?
I'm a listener.
This just you brought it all the way around.
That's right. But I don't want to ruin your story. Keep going.
No. So we just find ourselves.
Respect.
We find ourselves sitting on the piano bench, and now we're deep into conversation. And of course, I wanted to kiss her, but I didn't. Like Chris, I mean, when there's the potential of meeting someone who's your forever,
something
where
bigger,
you're like, you want to kind of slow it down a little bit. There's no rush. And so you don't want to make any mistakes. And so that's kind of where we were. I dropped her off at her hotel. And we, I won't bore you with the in-between stuff. I was playing, I was thinking about popping the question. So I'm talking to Chris about, like, where do I get a ring? How do I find a ring? And, what do you look for in a ring? And so I finally get one, and I got it in my pocket, and we're playing the Opry that night, right?
Ooh, that's big.
Grand Ole Opry. And the girls are with us, and I told Chris, I said, we were going to sing, like, "I Know Somebody," and then "I Love This Life." I think they were letting us play, like, 2 songs that night. It was going to be "I Know Somebody" and "I Love This Life" or something. And I said, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to pop the question in between the 2 songs. And he says, "Well, how am I going to know?" And I said, "Well, I'll look at you and just say, I'm doing it." And then he goes, "Okay." And then I'll step out of the circle, because there's a coveted circle on the stage there. He said, "I'll step out of the circle." And I had to call the Opry and ask Pete Fisher for permission to propose inside the circle, because it's just something you just don't do.
Yeah, it's the Holy Grail.
It's the Holy Grail. And Pete Fisher was like, "If you feel compelled to pop the question, we'd be honored to have you, hit your knee inside the circle and propose. So I was like, okay, got the blessing of the Opry. And so here I am. I know somebody ends. I look over to tell Chris, I think I'm going to do this. Chris is gone. He just is, he's forced my hand already.
Yeah,
he knew I would be nervous, maybe.
Dude. And I'll just say, I hope that she says yes, dude, because it's going to get real awkward.
Yeah.
He steps out of the
somebody.
circle.
I knew.
So I was like, well, I guess this is it. I'm going to ask Kristen to come out here on stage. And so she comes out on stage, and I hit my knee. And I just said, it's so fitting to ask to put the most coveted circle on your finger and ask you to marry me inside the most coveted circle in country music.
Wow.
And
That's pretty good, P.
and thank God she said, yeah, it changed my life. And here we are, all these babies later.
Look at you,
And
man.
it's crazy.
It's great.
I mean, it was as good as a 15-minute prayer and just hitting your knee real quick saying, I need to marry
I
you
should have
quick.
had Chris say a prayer at the Opry, right there.
Yeah. Everybody bow your heads.
Lord Almighty, dearly beloved, beloved, beloved.
Thank you for whoever's sitting in G31, whoever you are right now.
G32, G33.
No, but we've had some great, I mean,
Give it up for love.
Yeah, man,
Love,
love. Speaking of though, let's go there. Let's talk about JR for a second, because I would like to say that I introduced him, well, my wife, but introduced him to his new flame.
Oh,
Yeah, and it's a serious flame too.
By the way, at first you were not for that.
I wasn't.
No, you were like, nah, I don't know, because
Well, she's coming out of something serious.
something serious, and you're like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
You were a little hesitant at first,
And you're younger than her.
which made me hesitant too.
Right.
Well, and I've never known you. We've known you a lot of years. I've never known you to be the settling down kind.
Correct.
Really?
So,
Well, just call all the memes you send us.
throw that in there.
Those also come back to me.
JR is the funniest human we know.
He is definitely funny.
He's also very quick-witted, and that comes with his dirty personality sometimes.
Yeah,
it just
Dirty
happens
personality.
once in a while.
Wow.
Wow, Luke Bryan and Dustin Lynch. Wow.
He's got some dirty jokes. He's good at them.
He is good at them. So this chick, though, I mean, she's been married. She has kids.
Right.
So you're walking into an instant family.
Correct.
Not easy.
Not easy at all.
Not easy at all. But if anybody can do it, you can do it.
Well, and if you're going to do it with any girl, this would be the one to do it with.
She's a great chick.
She's just a good.
She's loyal.
She's one
very
of the best.
loyal.
She really is very loyal and just a good person. It's just like one of those things where you're kind of like, I don't want to have this person feel anything other than love. That's how I feel about her, because I know some things that have gone on in her life and stuff like that. And I know that she's like that for everybody else. Like she is a pleaser in every aspect of the world. Like we want to make sure everybody's having a good time, wants to make sure that everybody's feeling loved. And so it's like, hey, give yourself a break.
Yeah, it's hard to do anyway. You can't do that. It's impossible.
Exactly. But I'm saying, like, for me, my role then would be like, hey, you need to feel the reciprocation of that. So, like I said, if you're going to walk into that challenging situation with anybody, it was definitely, and that wasn't me going right out the bat like, oh yeah, I'm going to do it. But I was at your Christmas party. I walked in. She was standing next to your barbecue. Lights don't work on that barbecue, by the way.
That's because my wife lost the remote.
Yeah, that's a
Couldn't get a good look because the lights are off.
Right.
Yeah.
No. So it was elf yourself theme. Okay. So everybody's just an elf.
Okay.
Except for one person. There's a person who is wearing how would you describe that outfit she's wearing?
Santa suit.
It's a Santa suit, but
Slutty Santa.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. You
Kind
could say
of.
she definitely went all out.
Yeah. She
Dirty
went out.
jokes.
No,
Yeah.
boobs were out. She was ready and trying to impress.
Mr. Dirty Jokes meets Slutty Santa, and I'm here for it.
So I walk out on this patio, look left, and I didn't need to know. It was no introduction of, hey, JR, this is Kristen. Kristen, this is JR. I knew exactly who they were talking about right when I saw her. I was like,
That's awesome.
That's got to be her.
Yeah.
Went up, talked to her, and then when I came back, obviously, I'm getting grilled by Chris's wife. Like, hey, what'd you think? And I'm like, well, I just met her 5 seconds ago.
My wife's like the matchmaker. Dude.
Yeah, let me
She's
get a
trying to
beer
hook up
first,
everybody.
and we'll talk about this, But but it was. I'm thankful, first of all, Chris. Thank you very much. And now I've found myself at cheer competitions on weekends with Chris. So
Which
Chris,
are absolutely Horrendous.
Horrendous. So,
Let's just be honest.
Because she has 2 girls who cheer. He also has 2 girls that cheer. And so now...
Same team?
Same gym? Is that what
Same
it's called?
Same gym.
I'm learning all the lingo, dude.
Yeah.
Well, we're all learning this one. It's crazy. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. We find out how crazy these parents are.
Oh, my gosh, dude.
We have parents just to go to the cheer competitions just to get hammered.
100%. No, not even just that. They're walking around with a Yeti in their hand at the competition.
Yes.
Like in where they perform, walking around with a Yeti full of
just getting hammered.
Just getting
hammered
up. Dude.
It's their chance to work off.
Yeah, it's like a vacation
Take
for
my kid
them.
and this is it, dude.
It's a vacation for them, but you're like, wait a minute, we're here so your kid can compete, and it's not cheap.
Yeah. And then there was almost a fight in the front row because the people wouldn't move in the black seats.
Oh, I didn't see that.
So it's almost like Dance Moms.
It is. It's totally Dance Moms.
You got some dynamics.
It gets nuts. Let's go back to this. So I know there's a lot of guys out there that maybe have gone into a relationship into instant family. Okay. I dated a girl for 5-6 years that had a child already. That wasn't mine. I really grew and loved the kid. Still talk to him to this day. He's 21, 22, whatever he is now, 23. Great kid now. Grew up. I'd like to say I had a lot to do with that and stuff. But it is not easy getting in there, especially when there's another male involved.
Right.
And the hardest
their dad's
thing,
still around, obviously.
Yeah,
that's tough.
It is tough, but you have to. And we've had this discussion. And people there, it's much easier if you get along with them, which is not always the way it goes. But just to play nice, you don't have to be best friends or anything like that. But you got to play nice because there's kids involved. Once kids are involved, you don't want to be the bad guy, which those kids adore you already. Those 2 girls love you.
They're good kids.
Yeah. So you are blessed where it's not like that. You know what I mean?
Well,
there's been some stuff.
That's the thing is like, for instance, he was there this weekend. So I saw him. What's up, dude? That's bad for business if it's weird.
Yeah.
And here's the thing is kids, as you guys know, pick up on everything.
Mm-hmm.
So if they think that's awkward, then that puts them in a weird spot and that taints their whole weekend of trying to be great, And from day one, I went to her, to my girlfriend and said, if you would like me to meet him or if he would like to meet me, I would 100% sit down with him because I'm around his kids, for crying out loud. He opted not to do that. That's okay. I met him another time, and that was fine. And so every time I see him, it's totally cool. I don't know how he's feeling, but for me, it's never going to be like, hey man, whatever, unless he said something that was disrespectful to her or to me or whatever. But that doesn't seem to be on the horizon right now at all because it's like I said, it's not about me or him. Or even my girlfriend, is about these girls, and
that's that all the way around that stuff. I can't imagine someone being part of my kids' lives like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially, if I know you, you're fine. But a male going into 2 younger girls,
100%, and that's why I straight out the gate, I was like,
if I'm dad, I'm meeting you, and
you, and by the way, you would
even past the woman thing, I'd be like, dude, don't fuck with my kids.
Right.
100%. And that's the thing is I was surprised that didn't happen.
Right.
So, but hey, dude, you're lucky that I'm a good guy and I'm going to be a good guy, regardless. And so it was just, that, like I said, it's bad for business if it was going to be awkward. And then every time, he's around, because he's got to be around, I got to be able to accept that, which I do.
Yeah, you 100%. Do. You take it great.
Yeah. I'm not looking to... I understand that I'm not going to be their dad, but I can be a great influence on them.
Absolutely, you can.
That's all it is, right there.
That's all I can do, and that's what I love doing because they are really cool people. So, and cool kids. So, yeah, dude, it's been an interesting situation that I never really thought I'd be in, but I have never met someone where other people. I've yet to meet anybody who has not said the nicest things about her.
Oh, yeah, she's great.
And I'm talking like boys that I know from back home who would give it to me straight, who have met her, who are like, don't screw that up.
I bet you they'd give it to you straight.
Yeah, right. When I was high school. But I was like, hey, like, don't screw that one up. Like, they just know how I act around.
Yeah, she's a loyal chick, and she loves you, dude.
You just know when you know.
There you go. So I got a prayer warrior in you if I need one, and I know you'll ditch me if I tell you it's going to happen.
Well, I mean, I won't ditch you. I'll just let you have your... I let him have the spotlight.
Right. Because
I didn't want to be in it at all. Yeah. I was just there just in case you said no. So,
right. And
well, he was also...
That's it. Yeah. Was there.
Yeah. I mean, proposing is a big deal. I mean,
It is.
you've never done it before,
Nope.
and it's a one and done thing for guys like us. We don't want to do it again. We don't ever want to, you know. And
Man. I come from a divorced family, man. I don't want it for my kids. Period.
Right.
So I mean, not that I don't love my wife, but just for my kids alone. I mean,
Yeah.
you can look at beautiful women. Don't worry, Tatas and tires. I'm cool still with it, but
No touching.
there ain't no touching. There ain't no inflating or deflating them. Those days are over.
I love it. Yeah, I mean that's basically my situation, dude. I mean that's all. That's what's going on right now.
well, we bit the head off of a fish.
Right.
We've had someone get married from it.
Yes.
The
You got-
Opry and 3 favorite colors on a jacket that just blew my mind. And
You got instant family.
Instant family. Yeah, Instagram and Insta family. I have that. Oh, you guys must be real romantics. You know why? This is our longest podcast we've ever had. Give it a
Oh, wow.
can we call it our Valentine's Day podcast?
No matter where you listen to this and when you listen to this, just love. That's all I have to say.
Love.
That's all I got to say about that.
I like it.
3 favorite colors. Pick it up. I love this life. LOCASH going to be out on the road. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. Helps the algorithm. Thank you so much. I'm JR. I love this life podcast. Peace.